Good evening, I am April Singlama and these are the headlines of the hour. Prime Minister Oli fails to show concrete achievements, relies on non-legal mechanism and working groups. The ruling coalition party focuses on identifying issues without legal backing. Stakeholders suggest diplomatic initiatives to improve Pokhara and Bhairava Airport. Airport operations yet to reach full capacity even after 2 years of commencement. South Korea has votes to impeach acting President Han Duck-soo just 2 weeks after Parliament vote to impeach President Yoon Suk-yeol. And Church Boys United reaches the finals of the 11th edition of the Fagunanda Gold Cup. Fidam Sporting Club defeated by 3-1 Church Boys to face Machinder Club tomorrow. Welcome back. 6 months after the formation of the government under the leadership of Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, the country's issues remain unaddressed. The two major parties which come together to form a coalition government with promises of constitutional amendments, political stability and anti-corruption measures are now establishing mechanisms and task forces that are not recognized by the constitution in an attempt to identify the country's problems. After 6 months of leading the government with a two-thirds party, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli is now turning to a new mechanism and task force as the coalition party has failed to deliver clear results. Previously, Premier Oli had stated that there was no need for a separate mechanism to oversee the executive, but now he is setting up one himself. 3 new task forces have been formed, made up of people outside the cabinet. The first task force has been given responsibility of preparing for constitutional amendments. Since next year marks the 10th anniversary of the Constitution, the group will focus on reviewing and proposing amendments in a timely manner. The second task force will focus on the bills currently being discussed in parliamentary committees and work to get them passed during the winter session of Parliament. Several bills have been stuck in committees for years without progress. With the winter session approaching, the government has signed this task to the task forces as there were concerns that no bills would be ready for discussions otherwise. The third task force, formed by the two parties, is tasked with creating a business-friendly environment while ensuring effective service delivery and good governance. This task force was established to address the root causes of hindering the business environment, including issues in development and construction.
कहीं न कहीं चाहिँ उहाँहरु दुईटा दलको बीचको चाहिँ असमझदारीलाई एक ठाउँ ल्याएर अल्झाउनको निम्ति मात्रै बनाएको होला भन्ने मलाई लाग्छ। विश्वविद्यालयमा भागभण्डा गर्नु पर्यो, अरु कतिपय नियुक्तिमा भागभण्डा गर्नु पर्यो, अरु कतिपय कामहरुमा भागभण्डा गर्नु पर्यो। हामी दुईटा दल मिलिरहेछौं है भन्ने कुराको चाहिँ अभिव्यक्ति दिइरहनु र प्रधानमन्त्री बाहिर गएर आउँदाखेरि पनि त्यो चाहिँ समयावधिको हिसाब चाहिँ दिइरहनुले कहीं न कहीं भय एक दलप्रति अर्को दलको चाहिँ भय यो बातहरुमा त्यहाँ टक्राएको छ.
The creation of these mechanisms and task forces highlights that the government has yet to identify the country's core issues. Prime Minister Oli had promised that within the first 3 months, people would see and feel tangible results. He has made similar commitments many times, emphasizing good governance and prosperity. According to the opposition party, the government's performance has been weak as it remains trapped in the process of forming mechanisms and task forces rather than addressing the country's pressing problems.
सुशासन लगानी प्रवर्धनले एउटा चाहिँ जनतामा डेलिभरीको नयाँ संकल्पहरू रक्त सञ्चार गर्छ. विधेयकहरू पारित गर्ने क्रियाले संसदको विधायिकी क्षमतालाई प्रकट गर्छ र संविधान संशोधन त यो आजको आवश्यकता हो. त्यसलाई हामीले एउटा राष्ट्रिय सहमति निर्माण गर्दै अगाडि बढ्छौं. यसका निम्ति सरकारलाई सहयोग गर्नका निम्ति दुई पार्टीका कार्यदलहरू विभिन्न तहमा बनेका छन्.
The ruling party offers a different perspective, arguing that the task force is essential for delivering a new message to the people and improving the working environment. However, despite the creation of multiple mechanisms and task forces by the two parties, none of them are recognized by the constitution or the law. There is no requirement for the recommendations of these groups to be implemented. This raises the concern that by repeatedly creating such agencies, the government may be attempting to overshadow responsible state institutions. Stakeholders have suggested the government to operate Pokhara and Bhairava airports through diplomatic initiatives, which have not been able to operate at full capacity even after 2 years of inauguration. In the program held by the Nepal Civil Aviation Authority, the former Director General Sanjeev Gautam stated that while operating airport at the border region, the consent of neighboring countries should be obtained. He added the government should take diplomatic initiatives for that. Managing Director of Buddha Air, Birendra Bahadur Basnet, asked the government to clarify whether Pokhara International Airport is under Chinese Cooperation Project BRI. He claimed that India is not allowing the flights from Pokhara to its city after China called Pokhara International Airport under its Belt and Road Initiative BRI project.
त्यो एयरपोर्टलाई BRI प्रोजेक्ट भनेर त्यसलाई चाहिँ नि संज्ञा दिया छ। अब BRI हो कि होइन त्यो चाहिँ नि नेपाल सरकारले त्यसलाई व्याख्या गर्नु पर्यो। BRI हो भनेदेखि त्यो BRI अन्तर्गत कसले थाहा छैन अब कुन राष्ट्रले त्यहाँ प्रायोरिटीका साथ सञ्चालन गर्ने हो त्यो एयरपोर्टलाई। किनभने हामीले बुझे अनुसार BRI को कारणले भारत सरकारले त्यहाँबाट परमिसन नदिएको।
In the program, former Minister Yogesh Bhattrai clarified that the Pokhara International Airport is not under BRI projects. Welcome back. It is time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
But before that, let's take a look at yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked you, what's your take on party's proposal to scrap party-wise trade unions in civil service? 26 voted for A, possible if UML and Congress come together. 33% voted for B, proposal to garner popularity. And 41% voted for C, necessary to improve the administration. And here's today's question. Why has the current government formed mechanisms and task forces one after the other instead of focusing on its responsibilities? Your options are A, to show results, B, consequences of not being able to work, or C, mistrust within alliances. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Now, the mayor of Katmandu metropolis, Balendra Shah, has alleged that the compensation has been neglected to the residents by the government even after years of land acquisition in Tinkune, Koteshwar. Inaugurating the Koteshwar festival held in Katmandu, Mayor Shah claimed that there would be no problem in distributing compensation if this government wanted to. However, the government has not taken any initiative yet. He also suggested the affected to press for compensation. Chairman Gorak Bahadur Thapa informed that 50 stalls, including various dishes, clothing, among others, were set up in the two-day festival organized by Koteshwar Business Association. In our Public Voice segment today, we have asked in several provinces, how do local fairs and festivals contribute in stimulating the economy? Let's take a look at what they had to say.
स्थानीय परिकारहरू हामीले खुवाइरहेका छौं यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ स्थानीय तहमै उहाँहरुको चाहिँ आय आर्जनमा टेवा पुर्याउँछ
स्थानीय उत्पादनका तर बिक्री पनि भइरहेको हुन्छ त्यो बिक्रीको साथसाथै उपभोगकर्ताले उपभोग गर्न पनि पाउने भयो
यस्तो कार्यक्रमहरू गरिरहँदा व्यापार व्यवसायहरुमा राम्रै हुन्छ
यसले डाइरेक्टली या इन्डाइरेक्टली जसरी भए पनि देशको मूल मुख्य अर्थतन्त्रमा केही न केही टेवा पुर्याइरहेको हुन्छ
स्थानीय वासीले जुन अहिले गर्दै आउनु भएको कला संस्कृति कामहरु र मौलिक सम्पदाको कामहरुले गर्दाखेरि पक्कै पनि एउटा हामीले यो आर्थिक रूपमा टेवा दिन्छ
फन्डको पनि ओहोरदोहोर हुने हुनाले त्यसले चाहिँ अर्थतन्त्रलाई स्थानीय तहमा चलायमान
सबले त आम्दानीको स्रोत भन्दा पनि खर्च पनि धेरै छ प्लस यसमा
स्थानीय उत्पादनहरूलाई प्रवर्धन गर्ने
उत्पादन गर्न मद्दत पुर्याउँछ यसले बजारीकरणको पनि मद्दत पुर्याउँछ
पक्कै पनि आर्थिक उन्नतिमा टेवा चाहिँ पुग्ने हुन्छ
कस्टमरहरु आउनुहुन्छ किन्नुहुन्छ खानुहुन्छ
अर्थतन्त्रलाई गतिशील बनाउन स्थानीय मेला महोत्सवहरूले धेरै नै टेवा पुर्याएको छ
मेलाले त्यस्तो कुनै परिवर्तन चाहिँ ल्याउँदैन एउटा मान्छेको जमघट र भेला हुने चाहिँ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई
2 दिनलाई मात्रै भयो के अनि अलिकति बढी भइदिएको अझ राम्रो हुन्थ्यो भन्ने
It is time for international news. A majority of South Korea's parliament had voted to impeach acting President Han Duck-soo. Prime Minister Han has been acting president since President Yoon Suk-yeol was impeached on December 14 over his short-lived imposition of martial law on 3rd of December, and his presidential powers were suspended. After Han's impeachment, Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok is next in line to assume the acting presidency. Some 192 lawmakers voted to impeach Han out of the 300-member parliament. Han was supposed to lead the country out of its political turmoil, but opposition MPs argued that he was refusing demands to complete Yoon's impeachment process. Chaos erupted in Parliament as the vote was held today. Ruling party MPs gathered in the middle of the voting chamber chanting "invalid" and "abuse of power" in response and called for the speaker to step down. Most of them boycotted the vote. Han will be suspended from his duties as soon as he is officially notified by Parliament. This is the first time an acting president has been impeached since South Korea became a democracy. Now let's look at the highlights of 2024, the month of October.
Alarms sounded across Israel and explosions could be heard in Jerusalem and the Jordan River Valley as Iran fired more than 180 ballistic missiles at Israel on October 1st. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps said the assault was in retaliation for Israeli killings of militant leaders and aggression in Lebanon against the Iran-backed armed movement Hezbollah and in Gaza. Israel later retaliated with airstrikes on Iranian military targets, especially missile production sites, on October 26. On October 3rd, gang members brandishing automatic rifles stormed through a town in Haiti's main breadbasket region, killing at least 70 and forcing over 6,000 to flee, causing widespread shock even in a country grown accustomed to outbreaks of violence. More people were severely injured in the attack in the early hours of the day at Pont Sonde in the agricultural region of Artibonite in western Haiti. Israelis on October 7 marked the first anniversary of the devastating Hamas attack that triggered a war which has sparked protests worldwide and risked igniting a far wider conflict in the Middle East. Ceremonies and protests in Jerusalem and Israel's south began around 6 in the morning in the local time, the hour when Hamas launched rockets into Israel at the start of its October 7 assault last year. Japanese organization Nihon Hidankyo, a grassroots movement of atomic bomb survivors from Hiroshima and Nagasaki, won the Nobel Peace Prize on October 11 in a warning to countries that have nuclear weapons not to use them. On October 16, Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, a mastermind of the October 7, 2023 attack that triggered the Gaza war, was killed by Israeli forces in the Palestinian enclave. His killing marked a huge success for Israel and a pivotal event in the year-long conflict. Western leaders said his death offered an opportunity for the war to end, but Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said it would go on.
Today, the mastermind of this day of sheer evil is no more.
Russia hosted a summit of the BRICS nation in Kazan from October 22nd to 24. The final communique was long on words and short on detail about creating new payment and trade mechanisms which could bypass Western-dominated structures, including, in Russia's case, sanctions imposed after its invasion of Ukraine. But the summit scored a series of diplomatic wins, like the presence of UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres and of Recep Tayyip Erdogan, president of NATO member Turkey, which has expressed interest in joining the BRICS group. India and China chose the summit to profile new efforts to nurture ties. U.S. President Joe Biden on October 28 cast his ballot in the U.S. presidential election, voting early in his home state of Delaware for Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris in her race against Republican Donald Trump. Towards the end of October, more than 200 people were confirmed to have died after heavy rains caused waterways to overflow, creating flash floods that surged through suburbs south of the city of Valencia, sweeping away cars and bridges and flooding properties and underground car parks. The worst floods to hit Central Europe in at least 2 decades caused widespread damage from Romania to Poland, destroying bridges, submerging cars and leaving towns caked in mud and debris. Botswana's voters delivered a shock defeat to the party that had ruled for nearly 6 decades, registering their anger over economic stagnation linked to a decline in the diamond trade by handing victory to opposition presidential candidate Duma Boko. The 54-year-old of the Umbrella for Democratic Change coalition would replace President Mogwitsi Masisi on November 1, conceded defeat after his Botswana Democratic Party lost by a landslide for the first time in 58 years.
We have more news coming up, but right now it is time for yet another short break.
Sports news.
Welcome back. Church Boys United have secured their position in the final of the ongoing 11th edition of Fagunanda Gold Cup in Fidim. Church Boys United advanced to the final with 3-1 win over the organizing team Fidim Sporting Club in the first semi-final game held today. Sporting couldn't defend their early lead, which was gained by the goal of Dinesh Sharma in 43rd minute of the game. In the extra time of the first half of the game, Church Boys' Samir Tamang netted the equalizer. Church Boys played aggressive game in the second half, keeping the home team in constant pressure. Church Boys gained the lead in 63rd minute of the game with the goal of Arman Wedam. Again in the 85th minute, Fofana scored the goal to double the lead. Church Boys is set to clash with the winner of second semi-final game that is set to be held tomorrow between New Road Team, NRT, and Mashindra Football Club. Now, Australia's fierce pace attack dismantled India's top order today, taking control of the 4th test after setting a formidable first innings total powered by Steve Smith's masterful 34th test century. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.